Okay, I need to warn you about something before you do a 30-day challenge of meditation work because what happened to me in about the second week, oh my God, it made me think that I was crazy. But I actually discovered by talking to other students as well of people on this work that almost everyone who meditates, it happens to. And so I used to scroll through those testimonials, success stories, the people who had mystical experiences, perfect transformations, the I manifested my dream life posts. And I thought to myself, that's going to be me. But what I discovered is that those people aren't lying, but they're only telling you half the story. What they don't mention is that I almost became part of the majority of people who quit before my 30-day challenge finished. Okay? And it wasn't because I was weak or not committed. I was all in. I was doing everything right. But because nobody prepared me for what actually happens when you try to dissolve decades of conditioning in about just 30 days of just going all in on yourself. I'm talking about your body literally sabotaging you with mysterious illnesses, relationships turning upside down, your ego creating crazy stories about why you should quit for your own safety. That's just week one. But here's the part that almost broke me. It was around the second week, I think. Yeah, second week. Every suppressed emotion, every buried trauma, every limiting belief that I thought I had dealt with, it came to the surface, right? It came to the surface like a volcano. And I'm sitting there wondering if I'm having a spiritual awakening or if I should go check myself into a mental hospital. Because the worst part is that I couldn't talk to anyone during that time because my friends think I joined the cult, my family was worried about me, and I couldn't relate to anyone in my old life anymore. And back then, I hadn't found my new tribe yet. So I was just alone with all this chaos, with all this craziness happening in my head. So today, I'm going to share the actual reality, well, my version of reality of what happens when you actually go all in on this work and maybe give yourself a 30-day challenge. The parts that make people uncomfortable, the stuff that doesn't make it into testimonials, and how to actually navigate your inner transformation without losing your mind. Okay? Because most breakthroughs feel like breakdowns first. And I want to prepare you for that. Okay? I want to prepare you for that because you might quit right before the magic happens. So now I want to skip the first week and a half because nothing really eventful happened during that time. Like I was having great meditations. Everything was like just going great. Okay? Those are, it's easy to tell. It's easy to tell. But it was on day 11 days into this challenge. And honestly, like I said, the first week, I'm feeling pretty good about myself, right? I made it through the initial resistance. I'm getting into the rhythm with my meditations. And I'm thinking, I'm one of those lucky ones, right? I'm one of the lucky ones that don't have to go through a dark night of the soul. I don't have to go through that drama everyone talks about. Yeah. Lasted exactly one more day. Okay? So let me tell you about this day. It was day 12. I wake up and immediately something feels off. Something feels off. Not like sick. I wasn't sick, but mentally I felt scrambled. That's the best way I can describe it. Like sometimes hearing two voices in my head, and there was a lot of brain fog. Like, I don't know. That's how I can describe it. Brain fog. And I sat down for my morning meditation, and within 5 minutes, this voice starts going, "This is dangerous. You're losing your grip on reality. Normal people don't feel like this. Like you should stop before you do permanent damage." The crazy part was that voice, it sounded so reasonable, okay? So logical. It wasn't the usual thoughts that I have of, come on, you don't have time for this. This isn't working, right? Get up. Those type of excuses. It wasn't that. It was genuinely concerned for my mental health. And it sounded true because it was in my own voice, right? It sounded like my own voice. I don't know how else to describe it. So I'm sitting there thinking, shit, maybe if I go too deep into this fast, maybe I should just ease up, right? I actually Googled if there was a such thing as meditation psychosis, right? I'm not even kidding. I actually Googled that. Don't Google that, by the way, disclaimer. I don't want to tell you about it, but don't Google that. But then I remembered something about the ego's final battle or final stand. How when you are really close to a breakthrough, your old self is going to try to pull every trick in the book just to keep you back in your old self, on your old reality, keep you stuck. The most sophisticated trick for me was making me think that I was going crazy. And by the way, your old self knows you better than you. Well, not better than you, but it knows you because it's you. And so that's when I realized it wasn't me losing my mind. It was my old identity fighting for its life. And it was desperate. It was getting so desperate. Okay? It's like playing chess with you. So you got to be bigger than it. You got to be better than it. But that was just the beginning. Because what happened over the next few days showed me just how far your old self is going to go to keep you trapped. Okay? Day 13. Okay, the next day, I wake up with what I thought was a fever. It felt like a fever. My body felt heavy. I was low energy. I don't know even how to describe how my head felt, but it felt like a throbbing, a crunching, stuffed nose. I went to the doctors. The doctor didn't even know what was wrong with me. They just tried to give me antibiotics because they thought it was a fever. However, there was a small voice inside me and I knew that it wasn't a fever. And then, I don't know, synchronistically, I was in one of the monastery Facebook group and someone linked a biological upgrade about one of Joe's blogs. And so that's what I was experiencing. And then my old self was like, see, the meditations are making you sick. I'm like, oh my God. Thank you for that blog article, by the way. Day 14, my mom starts asking me if I'm eating enough, sleeping enough, because I have fever symptoms, right? If I needed to see someone, right? That's Filipino moms for you. My ex-girlfriend started getting annoying with how much time I was meditating as well. But day 15th, I'm driving, and I have this moment where I can't remember if I locked my front door, okay? But instead of like the normal worry, my mind becomes obsessive. I was thinking thoughts like, for hours, right? Did I lock it? Oh my God, what if someone breaks in? Okay. What if I'm becoming forgetful because of all of this meditation? It was just like crazy stuff. And I started experiencing resistance in my environment. Because when you start changing your internal frequency or internal state, everything around me that was matching my old frequency starts being pushed back. Okay, my relationships, my routines, even my physical environment itself. And so, don't take this the wrong way, but your old self is smart, right? It knows that if it can get the 3D or external world to feel chaotic and unsafe, okay, feel chaotic and unsafe. I just wanted to say that again. You want to abandon your internal work, right? To deal with the emergencies of the 3D reality. It's like your ego is creating fires for you to put out, so you stop building your new life. Okay, that's what it actually is. So I want to prepare you for that. I hope it doesn't happen to you. But if you are going through this right now, you're not paranoid. Your old self is literally trying to pull you back into your old reality. And I hope it gets better for you. But for me, it got worse before it got better. Because what happened was in the next week, it almost made me quit for good, okay? The reason being is because this was when everything I thought that I dealt with, oh my God, it just came back to haunt me. I'm talking about crying over bullying in high school, heartbreaks from my previous ex-girlfriends, something that I had thought I had processed years ago. And so day 18, I'm in meditation. And suddenly, I am reliving this moment from when I was 12. Listen to this. I farted and sneezed at the same time in class. And then my teacher started laughing, which was And she started laughing in front of the whole class, and she was like, "Who is that?" And so this is during meditation, right? I'm not just remembering it, but I'm brought back into that moment, and I'm feeling it. The shame, humiliation, the anger, and it was like it was happening right now. And so I came out of my meditation, and I'm pissed, right? Pissed at my teacher, my classmates. For some reason, I was pissed at my parents for not protecting me. What? And here I am as an adult getting mad at something that happened years ago. Years ago. That was weird. So, day 20, I had to call in sick for work because I just couldn't stop crying. Not about anything specific, but I just couldn't stop crying. Just everything. I was crying about every disappointment, every rejection, every time I felt not good enough. It all came out at once, all at once. And I call this the purging phase. When you start raising your frequency, everything that's not aligned with that new frequency has to go. That includes old emotions, old traumas, old beliefs, things that you have been carrying around that you have suppressed. Okay? I'm going to touch about the physical letting go a bit later on as well. But it's similar to cleaning a house that you have lived in for years. Okay? You open a closet and all of this stuff you forgot had just, comes rummaging out. And some of it is useful, but some of it is just garbage and junk. But I had to sort through all that out before I can actually move forward. Okay? It doesn't want to be in your body. Okay? That's what I realized. It does not want to be in your body. So it has to move. It has to be expressed and moved out. But nobody told me that this was normal, right? So when it happens, you think you're having a breakdown instead of having a breakthrough. But now you know. Day 21. I'm sitting in my car after meditation, and I call my sister. I'm like, I think I'm losing my mind. I can't stop feeling things. Everything hurts. Maybe I should stop this whole thing. And she doesn't do this work. And she says something that probably saved my entire transformation. But before I tell you, let me explain why this purging phase is actually the most important part of the entire process. So, the purging phase is the hardest part. Okay, the hardest part of the purging phase wasn't the emotions or the physical symptoms. Okay. Although that was quite difficult. The hardest part was the loneliness. The loneliness, okay? I couldn't relate to anyone in my old life anymore. They loved partying, drinking still. Like, I didn't want to associate myself with that. And my friends are still talking about the same problems they've had and they've been complaining about for years. Talking about the same old shit. And I'm just there thinking, but you could just change this, right? Back then, my co-workers gossip every lunch break. They gossip every time they're in the office. But instead of joining in like I used to, I'm just observing them like watching a movie. Like, I'm not judging them, but I'm not participating either. I'm just there. Oh my God, the worst part was family dinners, right? Everyone's there having the same conversations, making the same jokes, stuck in the same patterns. And I'm sitting there feeling like an alien, and I have forgotten how to be a human. Man, my mom notices. She's like, "What's wrong with you? Are you sick? Do you need to go to a doctor? Are you okay?" That's how Filipino moms are, okay? The solution is always go to a doctor. And so I want to explain to her, I want to tell her, but how do you tell someone that you are becoming a different person without sounding like you've joined a cult or you've lost your freaking mind, right? And I call this the hermit phase. When you are changing frequencies, you naturally start to disconnect from people and environments that don't match your old frequency or that match your old frequency. So they start being disconnected. This is what I'm talking about. How your not just your purging phase internally, but your 3D matches that as well. Now listen carefully. It's not that you don't love them. You just can't pretend to be who you used to be anymore. Well, you can go back to that old self, but why would you? All that effort, all that hard work already. And the thing was, I wasn't prepared because I haven't found my new tribe yet. I didn't find my community yet. So here I am stuck in this in-between phase where I don't fit in my old life, but I haven't created my new life yet. It hasn't fully collapsed yet. And day 22, I'm having lunch alone in my car because I can't handle another conversation about small talk or things I don't want to talk about. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, is this what transformation looks like? Being alone, being weird, being unable to connect with anyone? And thank God that I had this one friend on Facebook that I found in a Dr. Joe Facebook group. And I called her up on Facebook. You can call people on Facebook. And she said, maybe you're not losing yourself, but maybe you're finding yourself. And maybe that's scary for everyone else because it means that they could change too, but they are not ready. I'm like, whoa, smacked me right in the face, right? I wasn't becoming weird. Okay, I am weird, but you know what I'm talking about? I wasn't becoming weird, but I was becoming authentic, like the real me. And that was threatening to people who were still hiding behind that facade, that mask. And then I really understood what was happening. And it was day 25. I'm in meditation and something shifts. Not dramatically, more like something clicked into place. And I realized I'm not trying to become someone new anymore. I'm just being. I'm just being. And there was no constant mental chatter about who I should be anymore, what I should do, how I should feel. There was no putting effort into that. I was just being. I came out of the meditation, I looked in the mirror, and for the first time in weeks, I recognized myself. Not the old me, not some future me, but just me. It was a presence, a calmness. I was relaxed and I was real. And day 27, I'm at the grocery store and this guy has the audacity to cut in front of me. Normally I would get mad or just, swallow it and feel resentful and just like don't say anything. But instead I just didn't care. Okay? Don't get me wrong, it wasn't like not in a defeated way, but I don't want this to affect my peace type of way. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't trying to control my reactions anymore. I wasn't trying to manage my emotions or force positivity. I was just naturally responding from this centered place, from this peaceful, calm, relaxed place. Now I realized that this is what it means to become your future self. I wasn't acting like a different person. I was a different person. The old neural pathways have been replaced with new ones. And the last few days of this challenge weren't about dramatic experiences, but they were all about learning how to integrate. The integration phase. Learning to maintain this new frequency while dealing with regular life. And so, day 30, people started commenting and people started noticing that, something's more different about you. You're more present. You're more confident. You're smiling more. I was more myself, okay? My business improved without me changing any strategies or investing in anything new. My relationships either deepened or naturally faded away. My old friends from high school just stopped asking me to come out with them, okay? All right, so I want to be real with you because that may happen to you. And it was like the world was rearranging itself to match my internal shift, okay? So that's a disclaimer. But what I learned was the 30 days wasn't the transformation. That was just the initiation. The real work began on day 31 when I had to maintain this new frequency without the structure of a challenge, right? And I thought day 30 was the finish line when it was actually the starting line. All right? Now, let's talk about you. If you are thinking about doing a challenge like this, if you want to go all in on yourself for 30 days, or if you're in the middle of it right now, here's how to navigate this path, okay? First, expect the sabotage of your old self. Your body will start creating emergencies, mysterious physical symptoms or illnesses, drama from your loved ones, work emergencies. This isn't coincidence, but it's your old self fighting back. And don't take the bait. Do not take the bait. I warned you. Secondly, prepare for the purge. Okay? Get a bucket. No, I'm just joking. Every emotion that you have been suppressing will surface, may surface, let me say that. This isn't a breakdown, but it's a breakthrough. And you're not going crazy. You're actually getting sane. Okay? Let it flow through you instead of pushing it and suppressing it again. Instead of fighting it. Just let it flow through you. And please keep a journal. Keep a journal. Keep a journal during this whole phase. Write down every emotion, every memory, every fear that comes up, everything that comes up. Don't analyze it, just document it, okay? You are going to be amazed at the patterns that you see afterwards, okay? Third, embrace the isolation. You're going to have to. You're going to have to, my friend. You're going to feel disconnected from your old life, and that's normal. You're just changing frequencies. So you can't vibrate at your old level anymore. And I want you to trust that your new tribe is going to find you when you are ready, okay? That's one of the best parts. Just be ready for that. But find one person at least. Find one person who understands this work so you don't feel crazy. A coach, a friend who's done it, an online community. There's Facebook groups out there. You need at least one person who doesn't think you're crazy when you're going through this process. Trust me, it makes it so much easier. Because it is easier to quit when you think you're going crazy, okay? Fourth, don't check for results. The biggest mistake people make is looking for external validation during this process. But every time I tried to check my bank account or analyze my relationship for signs of change, then I was operating from my old frequency. And so the changes happen from the inside out, not the outside in. So focus on how you feel internally, not what is happening externally. And finally, understand that the 30-day is just the beginning. The real challenges is maintaining your new frequency when the structure of the challenge is gone, okay? Otherwise, you can just do another 30-day challenge of maintaining that new frequency. Maybe I should document that. That is a cool one to do. And so that is where the real mastery begins, after the 30 days. So if you are going through this right now, feeling like you are losing your mind, wanting to check into a mental hospital, you're not. You're losing your old mind to make room for your new one. And that process is supposed to feel uncomfortable, okay? Because you are disentangling neurological patterns. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm going to be real with you. This 30-day is not a gentle self-improvement program, okay? It ain't about love and light. It ain't about rubbing shea butter all over your skin and trying to mask everything with positivity. Yeah, just feel great. Just feel gratitude, right? Just be happy. It's going to hurt. It's going to be messy. There will be moments when you question everything. Question yourself. But here's what I know after going through it. On the other side of that breakdown is the most authentic version of yourself that you have ever been. The version that doesn't need external validation, that doesn't get triggered by other people's drama, that doesn't compromise their peace for anyone or anything. So, I have to ask you, are you ready for that? Are you ready to maybe feel worse before you feel better? Can you handle your friends and family thinking that you've changed or gone crazy? Can you sit with uncomfortable emotions without running back to your old self, okay? Without running back to old coping mechanisms. Ooh, that one. Don't run back to old coping mechanisms. Because if you are looking for comfortable transformation, then this isn't it. It's not it. But if you are ready to do the real work, to face parts of yourself that you've been avoiding, to become who you actually are underneath all the conditioning, the stories, the interference, then you are ready for the most rewarding 30 days of your life. Remember, most of the breakthroughs feel like breakdowns first. And so the people who make it through are the ones who understand that the chaos isn't a sign that they're doing it wrong, but it is a sign that they're doing it right. And your future self is waiting on the other side of resistance, okay? The question is, are you willing to walk through the fire to meet your future self?